program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and you are here tonight for Love Noise, our weekly show where we have a special guest from the music industry come on. We talk the music business, and we share some music while we're here as well. Tonight's going to be a special one because I'm joined by my good friend and founder of Mogul AI and the Stewart Entertainment Agency, Brad Stewart. Brad, welcome into the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I mean, we spend a lot of time together on StreamYard. We might as well go live.
I agree. Yeah.
We might as well drop some knowledge on everyone and, talk about Mogul AI, talk about this tour that we're doing. And no better time than the present because we got some really big things happening. The submissions are officially open now. Really excited to share that with everybody. We'll be dropping the links to that in the comments here later, running the things live. You also have a 14-day trial of Mogul AI for everyone who signs up right now. You want to go ahead and tell everybody about that off the top here?
Absolutely. Yes. So Mogul AI is the first of its kind software that is, designed by me and my developing team to really give you the infrastructure and the systems that you need as an independent artist to help save you time, save you money, make you more money, give you control over your business, give you clarity with your data, and to really just reduce the burnout for you. And, it's a subscription-based model. We do not take commissions on your shows. It is strictly a submission or a subscription offer. So it's kind of flipping the entire industry on its head, the way that it's structured. And I think it's, when you combine that with the consulting and the mentorship services that we offer, it really is, to me, is the future of the music business. So the software really is designed to automate the booking, the marketing, and the management functions for your band. And then the consulting and the mentorship services are there to give you the guidance and the human elements that you need to interpret deals and to strategize and to make decisions for your business from an industry veteran.
Yeah, and I saw it right away. We connected on Podmatch. It was an easy match for me going, oh, this sounds really interesting. And within 5 minutes of pretty much hearing what you just shared with us there, I was like, oh, this is the future. Right? Because no longer do you have someone that can sign you to a deal and only makes money off their commission, but they're also working with 5 or 6 other artists. And some of those people might be taking more of their time, making them more money in the moment. And people are getting put on a shelf. Now you're given the keys to the castle and you can go work as hard as you want to. And yes, it may be an investment on a monthly basis, but you're not paying someone 10% on the $200,000 that you made. You're paying, $8,000 to $10,000 a year for the software and running, and really cheaper than that if you just get the booking agent. Now, I think a lot of what you've built with the marketing agent and the entire suite of services that you offer, the biggest package being that $10,000 a year, that's a steal. That's a steal for the bands and the artists who know how to take advantage of this software and to use it to its full potential. I mean, sending out 50 emails a day to potential bookers and not just cold calling, having the software and the tech put together the offers with you, being able to look at your business plan and to go, hey, this is how you're going to get to where you're going. It's absolutely incredible. And I know we've had some naysayers out there, mostly other booking agents who don't see the value in it for themselves, right? On a, enterprise level, but that's okay. Early adopters of AI in all different industries have had huge gains in the last several years, and the people who haven't are out of work. So there's kind of like two camps. You can choose to not use it and to naysay it and fall behind as others who are adopting it are advancing at lightning speed.
Absolutely. Yes, there's always going to be haters, whether you're doing things right or wrong. It doesn't, but that's okay. I embrace them because those are just data points for me. I have pretty thick skin. I've been in this business for over 20 years, so I can take whatever's thrown at me. I believe in what we've built here. I believe it's the future of the music industry, and it's just going to change a lot of people's lives for the better. And that's what motivates me. That's the entire goal. That's why I got into this, was to help independent artists. I love music and I love helping, the underdog. And that's really what it's about, for me, is helping the underdog succeed. I think everybody loves that story of an underdog. And, that's been my passion, is helping the artists build that team and the structure around them for 20 years.
Well, exactly. Like you've seen success stories already. You've helped bands get from, one level to climbing that ladder to the next. And obviously, your backstory is very similar to many people in the music industry, that COVID really wrecked a lot of stuff. It killed any momentum that anyone had. And you really had to make a decision at that time, what the hell you were going to do with your life. Because everything had been taken away from you, similar to a lot of artists that we talk to every day, that they had a burgeoning career and really moving with a lot of momentum. And then the world shuts down and they're not just back to square one. They are completely stalled out. And in that time, I'm sure probably hundreds of booking agents and dozens of booking agencies went under or consolidated, or, it changed the whole industry. We know we lost clubs. We're still losing clubs, even coming back. The ones that did survive haven't been able to, restart that momentum that they once had. People are consuming more and more online. So you don't necessarily have the the Rolodex for a lot of these booking agents thinned out as well. And now you have new clubs that are maybe taking their place and doing that. But talk a little about your personal experience, because I know you almost ended up selling insurance.
That's right. Yeah, it's I always told myself I would not do that. I'm not a big fan of the insurance world, but it is a much more stable industry, I would say that, than the music industry. So that was kind of appealing to me.
Not nearly as much fun though, right, Brad?
Nowhere close as far as that goes. But yeah, in our industry, things move so fast, and you either adapt or you die in this business. And music in a sense is almost like the tech industry, because there is a lot of tech that goes into this. But music is also discretionary income, and whether you're good or bad is really subjective. If it's not about technicality, if it was about technicality, you would see nothing but like classical guitarists and opera singers and all that would be at the top, because technically they're the best, but it's not, and it is subjective. And that's why a lot of what you see as successful really comes from positioning and marketing and the team that's around you and the structure that is there. Without those pieces, you're losing, you're not as efficient. You're losing time, you're losing money. And, that's really what it's all about. If it was just about talent and those people were, at the top of the charts, it would be one thing. But I think everybody knows that the most talented people a lot of times burn out before they ever get to that point. And that's really one thing that really inspired me to create this new structure, because we get hundreds of submissions, thousands of submissions, and I couldn't help a lot of them because they just weren't ready from a financial standpoint. They weren't making enough money to, validate, having an agency or a manager and all of that. You have to, typically be doing at least like 150,000 to 200,000 a year just on your annual live revenue gross before an agency or a manager really gets interested. And, you really need to have a good following and merchandise sales, but you need to have proof of all of that data and what you've done if you want to get on a label. And if you're not keeping up with all of that data, you're just leaving money on the table and you're slowing things down for yourself. And a lot of artists they're not really good at keeping up with that data.
Hey, I will vouch for that. I am one of those.
And that's okay. You are, I would say 90% of the artists out there are not very good at accounting and, running ads and A/B testing and metadata and, all of that stuff that matters if you really want to set up a firm foundation for your business. And, that's what the real professionals in the industry help an artist do, but they don't come for free. And, they're quite expensive. Anyone that's signed to a record deal, or a label, can tell you that most of those deals end up not being near as sweet as you thought they were when you signed on. And that's because they are still recouping the cost of everything to run it. But they get to do the billing and they get to pick who they want to pay, and they're getting kickbacks for sending people business. And there's just a lot of conflicts of interest in the current system. And I just wanted to change that. And that's why I feel like this model with Music Mogul AI is so great combined with the consulting, because we don't have a roster of artists you're competing against. Even if you got to that level, even if you get an agent, they're still going to have other bands on the roster. And if you're not at the upper tier of that roster, you're not getting the full service that you deserve. And, the software you can manage, you get to see all the activity, and, an agent's never going to show you all of their activity. They're only going to show you the offers and things that come in. You're not really getting to see what work is really being done. So I don't know. There's a lot. To me, that's worth, at least 5 or 10 grand right there, just to have that. And then, also when you sign on with a label or an agency and the phone's not ringing for you, they just drop you and you're right back to square one. And you have to reinvent the wheel and rebuild your team. And
you didn't get to build those relationships with the venues and the talent buyers and all of these things. And to me, I think that's the real advantage, is that you are the one kind of holding the keys and building the relationships on your own. And that alone is worth the $300 a month, right? For access to the booking agent, to have that database to go through and be able to approach these talent buyers on your own, and having the backing of Music Mogul AI instead of just being another schmuck in their email, right? Like I think as you go along here and you build relationships, and really what's key about the tech is that it's building on your existing database of clients and buyers and all these people that you've spent the last 2 decades building relationships with, that know that, when they get, something that comes through with the Music Mogul AI logo on it, that they can trust that this person's been vetted, simply because that you vet everyone that comes through, right? Right now, with the 14-day free trial, everyone starts out with a discovery call and gets into, your world, gets to spend an hour with someone of your status in the music industry, your experience level in this industry. I mean, it's been invaluable to me. I've got to spend a lot more than just an hour with you, granted, but you have completely changed my life. If we parted ways right now, just us having a relationship has drastically improved my Rolodex of relationships, because people now on LinkedIn see that I'm tied to you and go, oh, well, I know Brad's a good guy. I think, I can trust him. And I think that's what you deliver on top of, say some other, databases of venues. They're out there. We know about some of them. It's not that they're bad. It's just that they don't necessarily go far enough to actually help you. They may be more affordable, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be more effective. And in most rights, I would say that almost guarantees that they're not.
Yeah, some of them are actually even more expensive, and they don't even have the consulting or the mentorship as an option. And most of them are just CRMs, and it just does booking, or it just does marketing, or it just does management. Um, it's extremely rare. I don't personally know of any of them out there that do all three, and none of them offer consulting and mentorship in addition to doing all three. But this is really designed to help you stay organized, and it doesn't just organize your data, it actually executes for you. That is a huge difference. And then when you're able to keep up with that data, you are essentially future proofing your career with this, because you're able to leverage that data and leverage AI to understand your data, make educated decisions based off your data. And, us in the management world, we've been doing this manually for years, but now we're able to kind of give that to you to where the system can help you do it. Plus you get the human element on top of that. And to me, that is priceless, especially if you do not have anyone in the industry that's able to help you and to guide you, that has 20 years of, working with 300 plus bands and taking them to the national and international level. That's pretty priceless. I mean, if I would have had seen this for one of my artists, I would have signed up in a heartbeat, if this had existed 10, 15 years ago.
Right. Well, it would have saved you a lot of time. Would have saved you a lot of time and energy, and it would have changed your life, right? I mean, you could have helped 10 times as many artists. It would have changed a lot of other people's life. You would have made more money. And I know we're really excited about the rollout of the enterprise level, which will be coming later this year. Maybe we'll put it off for another year as we kind of build our own enterprise first. We've talked a little bit about that, but let's talk about the tour, because leveraging the tech is one thing, but education, I think, is such a big deal to both of us. And I was very grateful to have you really jump on board with, I had already planned on doing the Songwriter Showcase tour. I knew roundabout where I wanted to go, but working with you and just talking with you, it made it evident that there's so much needed on the education side with these artists. And we have developed now the Creator Conference, of which we'll be doing several while we're out on the road. Just talk a little bit from you. You've talked about the mentorship being so critical. Why is it that artists don't really know what they need to know? Why is it that there isn't a playbook out there for artists to follow? And why are we the ones that are having to go out there and do this? It seems crazy to me that we're like, not obviously probably not the first ones, but that are going, hey, like, you come into the classroom first, right? And I know you've been doing it on a one-to-one basis, but now we're really focusing on a one-to-many approach to this to try and get people out there. Talk about what it means for you to educate artists.
Yeah, it's very fulfilling for me, to help others succeed. And that's a huge part of, my passion and my drive is to do that. And it always has been. There are a few places out there that sell courses, and you can buy some books, to kind of get some of this. But usually by the time the books are published, in the time the public picks up on it, it's outdated, especially in the day of AI,
shout out to Ari Herstand on his 7th iteration of how to make it in the new music business. Had a chance to meet Ari at our awards show last year with the Midwest Country Music Organization. He was actually the first guy that I shook hands with coming off the stage with my award, right?
Oh, nice.
Walking out of the crowd, and the first person that I get to meet in the crowd and to shake his hand. And he did a seminar with us. He spent 2 hours or more talking to all of us at the awards show. And I mean, that was really an impetus for me to go, well, there needs to be more of this. You could do this. And I know that Ari does it all over the place. And I'll always kind of sing his praises. In another company, Entrepreneur, you talked about the courses, but not everyone learns that way. Right? Not everyone can learn from watching videos and being, self-motivated to do those things. And I think that's maybe, and I know they're huge. It's not like they're a small company, but you really have to do something for everyone. And I think that the in-person learning and providing a situation where you can not just learn, but you can network and meet other artists and meet people kind of where you're at. It's not, everyone's like feels so far above you, right? That you can do it. And that was a big part of our Midwest Country Music Organization last year that I thought was really cool. So, I mean, in essence, I'm trying to take a little bit of what I saw there and to go, well, we could do this in other areas, right? It doesn't have to be just once for this small group of people. Maybe there was 40 of us there for it. We could be doing this all over the country. And maybe it's because it takes a little bit of crazy or a lot of bit of crazy to try to put something like this together. But it feels like it's coming together, and we're getting some really great feedback from, even a lot of your friends that have been in this industry for a long time. A lot of people excited about what we're doing.
Absolutely. Yes. There's, I love Ari, and, I've never met him in person. We've communicated a time or two, I think, on LinkedIn, and, I love what he does for the community. He has a similar alignment as you and I, and being passionate about educating, independent artists. Courses are great, but they kind of help you in general forms. It doesn't really get very specific. And what we can do in our mentorship stuff, where we do group stuff, it's a similar thing. You're still getting a personalized approach, but we have to talk in more general terms, where the consulting is very specific. We look at your business and we look at your assets, and we start to kind of comb through there with what is inefficient, what we can do better, how do we prioritize everything, how do we understand your ideal client profiles. There's just a lot that, I don't know. I think a lot of artists just really want someone to kind of help them and hold their hands and ask the right questions, so that they don't have to spend 6 months working through a course, on their phone. And I think sometimes artists need a little bit of encouragement, kind of need a little bit of a life coach and someone to hold them accountable. And, it's like, you can go to the gym and lift by yourself, or you can have a trainer that's right there motivating you. It's just a different approach. And that's a little more of what we provide as the trainer.
Yeah, well, and I need it. We spent an hour talking after we got off a phone call with an extremely talented man who joined us last week on Love Noise, Michael Cagle, who is someone that doesn't have all the confidence, although he should, right? Not everyone is as confident and maybe a little unhinged like I am to believe when there's really no reason to believe, with my 12 Spotify listeners. And but that's how this whole thing started, right? Like, nobody was listening to this podcast a year ago. Even when I won the award, no one was listening. But it instead of kind of like sitting back on that and going, yeah, I'm the content creator of the year, and getting a big head, like, it lit a fire under me where I was like, I got to go earn this, right? Like, if you're going to call me that and I'm going to have this title on me, then I better go. And last year, in 2025, I put out way more content than I did in 2024. Right. I mean, 1,500 uploads that we've had on YouTube. We started, 13 different, 12 more shows essentially, and have just, really exploded onto the scene now. And no pun intended, but it's been just such a wild ride. And I've been so grateful to kind of be in it. Right. To be in it, to care about people. I think that's where it all starts from, is that, people care, and we care about people. And I think that's what comes off, and what's going to be really fun about this next phase of us working together and everything that we're doing, is that we are really changing our world around us. And we have a great opportunity now moving forward to do, to do a lot for our, our community, to do a lot for the music community at large, and just to be impactful. And I think that's all that I've really ever wanted to do, was just like to leave a legacy, right? And I talk about that with the podcast all the time as kind of being my legacy, for my kids and, maybe for myself. So when I'm, 75, 80 years old and maybe not working anymore, that I can sit back and watch all these memories, right? Because that's what every single one of these podcast episodes are, all of these pictures, the 4 hours I spent outside in the cold at the Josie Music Awards out front of the Grand Ole Opry House. Like, and I'm so grateful to have like all of it on tape, because I'm going to be able to watch this highlight reel of my life and to relive it. And right now I'm really enjoying living it, day to day and building it. Building this tour has been a lot of fun. I'm very appreciative of the trials and tribulations that we're facing now, because next year it's going to be way easier, right? And we're going to, I mean, granted, we'll have different problems to face, but something I read, I follow Andy Frisella. Anyone who watches the show and knows me and knows how much he changed my life and changed my mental aspect of it. But today his Andy Graham was like, appreciate the hard times, like learn to appreciate when times are tough. Because it's easy to appreciate the good times, right? Like it's easy to be invested when things are going well. No shit.
Right.
But it's hard to, embrace the times where maybe it didn't go so well, or you had a day, not unlike we had today, and not to get too far into details or anything, but we've been working really hard on something that we were really hopeful for. And it was almost instantaneously this morning that's like, oh, I don't feel as good about this anymore, right? Like it's amazing how much one text message can change your attitude. But, to like, oh, okay, well, we're going to have to readjust. We've been working really hard on this thing, but that's not happening anymore. So we have to readjust where we're at a little bit and to bring, to bring some things back. And I mean, it is what it is, right? Like you can't control it.
Yeah. The amount of time that it takes you to go from that failure or that something that didn't happen to getting back up and running, that is where leaders are made. How long does it take you to change your mindset and to learn from that mistake or that failure or whatever happened? That's where you separate the men from the boys, so to speak. Like that's really critical. And, going back to what you were saying a second ago about, the timing and like what you were doing, last year, I always tell my clients, I've said this for many years, but what you do today, you do not see a return on it for 1 year. If you think about what you did last year, you're just now reaping the benefits from what you did a year ago. It's very rare that it comes sometimes it does come faster, but on average, it just takes a year for you to do something and for the public to notice it. And, having goals is great, but setting up systems are better. And if you're setting up a system and you're incrementally getting smarter, I don't know if you guys have read Atomic Habits or not, which is a really great book, but it's all about increasing, everything by 1% a day. If you can just increase 1% a day and get better 1%, you're like, what is it, 37% more likely to be that much further in a year. It's insane. But, sometimes it's the incremental, and we all want to, there's a great drawing that, where you're trying to climb a ladder, but the rungs are so far spaced that you can't reach them. And it's important to have those rungs, spaced, kind of closer together so that you can keep that momentum and keep going. And you can't really do that if you don't have a system, or it's hard for me anyway. I can't do it without a business plan and, knowing what I want and what the expectations are and what the scope is. Like I need a guide, like I need that structure to know whether or not I'm hitting those. A lot of, mentors and stuff will tell you, if you don't know what your KPIs are, your key performing indicators, if you don't know what they are and you're not measuring it, then you're not going to improve in those areas. You have to be able to measure it. And if you can, then you can know what is succeeding and what's not. And I don't know, for me, that's just how I operate. And I don't know, I like a little bit of structure. I don't mind having some flexibility within that and we can have fun, but we need to have, some structure. And I don't know, that's just how my brain works. So.
Yeah, and I know enough from working with you now for the last couple of months that we are much, much different people in a lot of regards, especially, around that, because I can definitely shoot from the hip, and not that you can't, but, it's not the most efficient way to work. Right. And I've been, trying to get better about a lot of these things and to be a better, planner.
Right.
As far as you can plan, right. You can't always account for a lot of things, but I must have them on my laptop, man. I was trying to find the pictures. I had pictures of me and Ari and a bunch of stuff online, but I can't find them now.
Okay.
Well, just some highlights from the Midwest CMO Awards, and it's just such the Midwest Country Music Organization has been such a light to my life, right? I remember going in 2024 and I didn't know anyone at the awards. We were familiar with a couple of people, Jessica Luby being one of them, an artist from Sturgis, South Dakota, that we were aware of just because fellow South Dakotans. There aren't a lot of us in that organization at all. And I decided to bring my microphones. I had just started this podcast, right? Like I don't even know if I'd really released anything yet. I had maybe had one episode out on Podbean, and but I had my Zoom P4 that I could plug my microphones into, and I was like, look, we don't know anybody. What do we got to lose, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to commandeer a table. We knew, because we had honeymooned, the award show was in Okoboji. We knew where jam night was, and I knew the lay of the land pretty well from having spent some time there earlier in the summer. Yeah. And it was like, you know what? I'm going to go grab a table. I'm going to set up in the corner right there. I'm going to set up the microphones, and I'm just going to talk to people all night, right? Like what better way? Because that's what I'm going to try to do anyway, right? I'm going to try to go meet people, and made it easier on my wife, because then she could all she did was taking pieces of paper and hey, put your name and what you do a little bit on the piece of paper. So they would literally walk up, toss me a piece of paper, sit down, and be like, hi, what's your name? Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, nice to meet you guys. Thanks for being here. And we just did that. We did 25 interviews that night. Right. Nice. So we made 25 new friends and got to talk to some really great people who now we're all really good friends with. Right. 2 years later, you look at it. So yeah, that what you said about being a year behind, the rest of life is a year behind. It takes that time to catch up to you. And I even to the songwriter showcases, right? I had done the first one in Minnesota in St. Paul with a bunch of Midwest Country Music Organization Award, members. And I had put the whole thing together before I ever had any intention of filming it.
Right.
We were just going to get together and play music. And I'm like, I'm driving up to Minnesota, and then the 5-hour trip, I'm like, we got to film this. We got to shoot this. Who do I know? And I just started kind of reaching out in the network and being like, does anybody know a videographer that would show up to this? And through our network of people, we were able to find someone. And shout out to Rory, who, lives a few blocks away from the bar that we were performing at. It's like, yeah, I'll bring my stuff down. Here's how much it'll cost you. And we filmed 8 showcases that day, and it was so magical. I had a conversation with Brandon Day, who is a neuro coach, this week on the podcast. And we talked a lot about flow state, and that's his whole thing, right? He was an athlete, played in, a Division II national championship game, and was just, but then through going through, substance abuse issues and things like that, coming out of that, after he hit his rock bottom, he started to get into the neuroplasticity and the neural pathways that you're going through this, and got really into flow state. And the more he's talking about it, I was like, that's why I'm in love with this, right? Like,
Right.
that's why I'm in love with podcasting. It was because it's all flow. And a lot of what we do on a daily basis, when no one is watching, is all flow state, where we're just in the moment, and you'll be researching something and I'll be hammering away on the computer, looking them up and connecting and making those connections, or vice versa sometimes, right? I'm the one who's kind of had the brain going, but that's the beauty of our our friendship, our partnership here, is that we're able to feed off of one another, and we're both able to bring a different perspective with the same direction, right? Knowing where we're going, but being able to feed each other at different moments. And that's why even tonight was a perfect opportunity for us to just get together live on camera this time, share what we've been talking about behind the scenes for so long, and to really let everyone know like what's coming, right? Like, Music Mogul AI has not gotten enough juice yet out there. We talk about it on the show all the time and introducing people to it, but really no one's had an opportunity to really see what it can do and to really put it to work. And that's why it's so important to get out with the creator conferences, with this tour, to be able to show as many people as possible, like, check this thing out, because trying to reach people on the internet's a nightmare, man. I just got out of Facebook jail yesterday.
Yeah, it's it's technically still in beta testing, but we're planning on releasing it in February. So if you want to get in on the ground floor of it and give us feedback. We're looking for feedback. I built this for music, for independent artists, and you can give me feedback on it while I still have the developers on the payroll to help me make it work better for you.
Right.
That is huge right now, to get in on the ground floor with this. And, motivation and action, like you said, what people don't realize is the cost of inaction is way higher than just taking action. It's just like run the play. Like, just do it. Just start somewhere and get into the habit. Like, going back to my organization, I wasn't born with that organization mindset. I had to learn that. I had to fail a lot and to see what the benefit of it actually was at doing it, and doing it both ways, for me to really see the value of it. And, like you said, just when you grab the camera, to start it, I had not done podcast, before. And I was like, you got to do it. You got to just get over it, Brad. Like, just,
Well, I'm glad you landed on me for your first one, because it was eye-opening to me to know that something like this was coming. I definitely didn't want to be the person who found out about it a year from now. But also that's why I've said about this podcast that, like, this is a God thing. I couldn't have planned all this stuff as perfectly as I would. And honestly, it's why I'm not like stressing about it. I know March is right around the corner, but everything else in my life has unfolded in its own time. Right. Yeah. And we're one CEO of a major corporation seeing what we're doing and being like, we're putting some money behind these guys from the whole thing happening anyway. Right. And that's ultimately why I have that, I used to call it an unnatural confidence. What I realize it is now is it's a supernatural confidence, right? It's knowing that we've done the work. And the only reason that it hasn't happened yet is because the timing wasn't right for it to happen. And with so much of what we're doing right now is that moment is actually a moment that lasts 10 years. Right. And we're stepping into this whole new age of what we're doing. And it's hard for a lot of people to see through that. A lot of people may get down. And I know both of us, need an income desperately, but also that we both realize that it's so close to what we're doing. And my cat loves being on this show. Say hi, Chippy. Hi. You just got to have faith, right? It's not that we're not working, we're working our asses off, but to rededicate, time and energy into, just kind of pushing in the wrong direction sometimes can be more detrimental than it can be, of assistance.
Right. And that's, the opportunity cost is what a lot of people do not factor in when you're saying, I'll just do it all myself, and none of us do it ourselves. I certainly don't. That took me a very long time to figure out and to overcome. But, sometimes you got to kind of stay in your lane and know when to lean on others for their expertise and their 10, 20, 30, 40,000 hours, whatever it is, of being in the business. And, take advice from people that have already been where you want to go. Those are the people you should be listening to. If someone hasn't been where you want to go, you can still hear them out, but you need to kind of weight it, more coming from people that have been where you want to go, because they're speaking from real experience. And to me, that's, just such a tremendous value in our consulting and mentorship. But what I love about what you do, though, is the community and the way you've cultivated everything with the scene. And, we do have the same drive to help the same people. And that's, I think, why we work so well together. But, community is everything. People don't, there's only so many times you can watch a band on YouTube before you're like, I really want to go and experience a concert with other people and to feel that live energy. And, AI is never going to replace that. It's just not, and the community and what you build, like we were talking about earlier today, with Michael, is it's really about understanding, who is your ideal client? What do you want to see? What kind of fans do you want to see at your shows? What do you want them to feel? What do you want them to leave with? Like what, that if you can't answer that, then we have work to do, and because that's what they're going to remember is how did you make them feel? They don't really care if you missed a note or were flat on something necessarily, or they just want to know how you made them feel. That's what they're going to remember. And it's really, in marketing, it's defined as experiential marketing. And you can't do that without a community. So you have to, that is the secret sauce that a lot of people miss. And that's something that, having a bottomless pit full of money, it can kind of help you with that, but you need to be genuine and, you need to really think about how your fans are connecting with you and what is your message. And for me, that is part of the fun, is figuring that out for artists.
Well, I'm going to ask you to put your artist development hat on now, and
Okay.
I'm going to play you some of my songs. Some of these you might have heard already. Some you probably haven't. And I've never approached you as a, your booking agent side, right? To me, you've been, the founder of Mogul AI and a trusted partner and friend. But I've never kind of put you in this position where I'm asking you to examine my art and to give me some feedback. So I'm going to play my whole EP for you. We're going to listen to them one by one, but we'll kind of cruise through them, get a couple of quick thoughts from you and everything. I'll tell you a few stories about the things behind it. But yeah, I mean, this is my show and I'm allowed to play my own stuff sometimes too. So
there you go.
I didn't build this whole thing just for you guys. I want a piece of the action too.
Yeah, I think some people can maybe learn, from this. And even before I listen to it, and I've not heard the song, whatever song he's about to play, everyone, so like I will go into this fresh, but even if someone doesn't like it, right, that doesn't mean it's not good. It just means that they're not part of your target audience. There's always a target audience for you, regardless of your songwriting and your talent. You just got to find your tribe kind of people. And,
like I found my cats, she found me. I am her tribe. I am her target right now. She's chewing on my finger and clawing at me. And
Yeah.
At least I'm loved here in the studio and at home, right? You're never
Yeah.
going to take away the love of my children. So like you, I have thick skin, and for me, the songwriting has always been so personal, and it's been my way of getting my feelings out of me.
Yeah.
That I've never done it to be I've never cared what anyone else really thought of my music. It's never mattered to me at all. And for better or worse, right? Like maybe I would be more successful if I did care a little bit more, but I know what it meant to me. And this whole album was really special because I got to work with some really talented people, and got to bring these songs that some of them have been kicking around in my head for over a decade. And now I get to share them with my friends and with the world. And that's going to be a big part of this next year as well, is getting back out and having a little bit more time to do my own performances. So this first one is called Everlasting. It's the first show. We're going to play them in order as the EP goes as well. So this is Everlasting from Starts and Ends. Really hope you guys enjoy this one.
All of these mysteries filling our hands, begging to be solved, remembering the lives we've lived before, searching for answers out in the void. We're all just restless girls and boys, looking for keys to open the door. Time's everlasting, time never lasts. Watching seconds slipping from my grasp, holding you closer, holding our breath, observing the march of time as the present quickly fades into our past. Swimming in circles now, and we can't get out, and we can't get off this ride. A vessel is tossing in the waves. Step up the shadows, no need to hide. Our future is rising with the tide. The only thing we need to be is brave. Time's everlasting, but time never lasts. Quite as long as we wanted to. Watching seconds slipping from my grasp, holding you closer, holding our breath, observing the march of time as the present quickly fades into our past.
All right. Yeah, man. It's kind of got a little bit of a surf rock vibe in there. That's what I'm kind of feeling a little bit on that. But the lyrics were great. And, I think when you're playing that live, working in some kind of a breakdown where you kind of get some call and response, with them would have such a big impact. Like you wouldn't have to change anything in the song. It's just in your deliverability, fans, people love to get into it, and I think, you definitely had a few points after the bridge, on a couple of those where you could get them involved. And I could see that being a very fun track, especially for like a concert series and, that kind of a setting, because it's very accessible, like there wasn't anything that was like fringe, I think it's very not pop, but I mean, I think your average person out there can relate to the lyrics and relate to the style and can kind of move to it. And, so there was a lot of good things about it.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
Means a lot to me because I know you wouldn't bullshit me either.
I would not. I would tell you, you know, and I like that it's raw, you know, in today's world with auto tune. And I personally have a hard time with all of that stuff. You know, like when I hear the vocals that are digitized, especially in the rap world, I'm like, oh my God. I had this conversation with my son the other day. We were discussing, you know, is rap better now than it was when I was growing up? And I was like, it's not even close, dude. I was like, you know, every single time you hear a rapper from today, it has auto tune. Every single time it has, because they can't sing, you know what I mean? But like you listen to Dre and Biggie and, you know, Tupac and all that, like they didn't have that. They didn't need that.
And it was good because it was raw, right? Some of these albums are recorded in an apartment building, you know, and the vocals are just laying it out there. And that was important. I mean, a lot of these are done. All the drum and bass and most of the rhythm guitars were all done in one take.
Yeah.
You know, we ran through the song once. These are guys that I never get to play with. There's some of my favorite musicians and the people that I know in Rapid City, South Dakota, all in their own bands, respectively. And you know, I'm just fortunate enough to know some really awesome people, right? Yeah. And it was the first time that we had gotten together to play. And it was like, I'd sent the songs to them ahead of time. Hey, these are the tracks. This is, you know, this is how they go, right? Yeah. And showing up, we literally ran through it like 1 or 2 times before. And then I was like, all right, let's hit record, see what happens. Yeah. And Diami, the bass player, just nailed it on tracks like this, and especially the one that we're going to listen to next, where I don't know a lot of guys that can play in this style. Like that bass line is chugging the whole way through that. There's not a lot of guys out here, especially in South Dakota, that can keep up with that and to be there. And Diami's, well, I mean, one of the best. He's playing in one of the biggest bands in South Dakota now, Judd Hoos, for good reason, and plays with all the big bands in Rapid City now for that reason as well. But yeah, blessing for me. Shout out to Tom Freer, Cottonwood Recording. Not only did he record and engineer the whole thing, but he played drums on all the tracks, played guitar on some of the tracks, and he's been a piece of everything that I've released over the last, you know, I guess like 5 years that I've been releasing some singles and getting some things back out there. So yeah, and that's a song that's really, you know, a moment in time for me. You know, we found out that my granny, you know, she'd been having some trouble with her shoulder, and she had, you know, beaten cancer into remission 20 years ago. But it's, you know, it was something that we knew if it ever came back, it was going to be aggressive and it wasn't going to take long. There wasn't going to be anywhere to fight it off again. Right. She had done some trial, you know, some trial treatments that she had already maxed out on. And so I found out literally that day that, like, hey, your granny went in for a CT scan, and you know, they just did a biopsy, and it's cancer underneath of there, and it's not going to be long. And that's where like the time's everlasting, but time never lasts kind of came from, where it was just, you know, you think you have so much of this left in the bottle, and literally at the drop of a hat, it all changes. And really grateful that I got to go down, you know, maybe a month after that. And we spent the holiday, you know, the Thanksgiving holiday down there, and all of our family came in. A lot of my, you know, my great aunts and uncles, my mom's aunts and uncles came in, and, you know, obviously my aunt and uncle, who I hadn't seen in for a long time, right? Like I was still fresh out of prison, you know, I'd been out for a few years at that point, but yeah, it was, that song means a lot to me, right? And I know it's not like a sad song, right? Like, I found out my granny was going to die, and I wrote this really high energy rock song about it. But it was just, I wanted it to be an infusion of that, like that kind of like get out and live energy, right? Yeah. You go now, don't wait, because you don't know how much time you have on the table. We don't know how much time is left in front of us. So go and live it. And that's why it was so important to have that one leading off the EP as well, to get that. And shout out to my granny. I love you, Granny. You meant so much to me, and I carry you with me. And now I have this song to kind of memorialize her with as well. So means a lot, man. I'm glad you like it, and I'm glad you like the raw nature of it, because that's how this whole EP is, for exactly those reasons.
I love that.
Something that you could feel, you know.
Yeah, I love everything about that. You know, it's relatable, it's pure, it's true, and you know, I don't know if you have told that, you know, story, you know, behind the song. You know, kind of get to do your own storytellers here. You know, fans like to hear that stuff. They want to know the deeper behind the scenes stuff of your music. You know, they want to know what inspired you. They're constantly looking for ways to relate to you. Okay.
Sorry, my heater was kicking on. I had to go turn it off. Hey,
Okay.
This is live. You guys want to get behind the scenes? We do everything live here at the Scene Projects. That's why I knew the Songwriter Showcase was so important. And having been a part of the Wild West Songwriters Festival in Deadwood the last few years, and this year I took my cameras and I actually captured my rounds, and then we've put those out on the Scene Projects now. And it's like you alluded to earlier, is that like the rest of the world is a year behind. So I like did all of this and put all this stuff out there, knowing the importance of it now, and then knowing that a lot of people probably won't catch up to it until we kind of break through, right? We have our big breakthrough and we get out there and putting it out, and then people are kind of struggling to catch up because you're always running. And yeah, I mean, we work really hard at what we do to stay ahead of the curve, right? And the reason, you know, it's a saying is like, think of it like a train. If you're at the head of a train that's, you know, 1.5 miles long and you're going around a big curve, you can't see the end of that train. Right. And for me, I've always talked about it in like the monetary way, is like, we are the engine. We are at the front of this thing, dragging this huge thing along, and it has all this momentum, and the curve is straightening out, and the money is in the caboose, right? Yeah. And as we're clearing it, and I know it seems like you're never gonna see it. It's never gonna happen. I promise you, the road and the path is straightening out, and eventually you're gonna be able to see, and you're like, oh yeah, there it is. And you know, even this record was a lot like that. It took me almost a year to get it out. I recorded the drum and bass tracks when I was back there in like November or December. I think I had a show back there in late December of 2024, and was able to record the bass and drums. And then it took, you know, another 4 months before I made it back out to do the guitars and the vocals. And then it took a little bit longer to get everything mixed and mastered. And like, well, are we done with it? Are we not done with it? And like, eventually I was like, Tom, it's done, man. Like, I was waiting to put guitar tracks on one we're going to hear. And I was finally like, why don't you just do them? Like, what am I talking? You're a better guitar player than I am anyway. What are you just doing? He's like, oh yeah, we could do that. Cool, man. Thank you. Speaking of better guitar players,
I love that analogy about the train, man. It's you know, it's all about positioning, and that's why we want to help you, you know, do as much as we can so that that train is going towards the right destination, because you can be busy and be going in the wrong direction,
or just going in circles, right? Like you could just be doing the same thing and never making any progress. And I think that's what's so important, and where your experience comes in so handy, and the mentorship that you can offer to these artists as they're going around, is that so they don't get stuck in that, right? So they don't get caught in this, like, because you're going to be able to see their data and to see like tracking them, as well as like, hey man, you've been playing the same size clubs for like 3 years. Like, what let's get on a call, you know, because I know what I can offer to you to kind of get to that next level. And it's all about elevating people to that next level. So speaking of that, that's a great segue here, and better guitar players as well. This next one is featuring my good friend, and actually the winner of this year's regional songwriter contest from the Wild West Songwriters Festival. I got to make sure I get his name on here too. Johnny Hastings is my favorite guitar player. I tell everyone that. It's no bullshit. He absolutely is. He's one of the most expressive guitar players I've ever met in my life. The fact that he, you know, grew up in a town right down the way from me, and I've known him since we were sneaking him in the bar when he was a teenager. We've all been around in this scene a long time, but Johnny's always been one of the best of us, and you're gonna get to hear him on this track. This next one's called Fools, and has a little bit of that surf kind of feel to it too, but some surprises as well. So hope you enjoy this one, Brad.
Running through these towns, kicking psychedelic sounds. I leave my heart down on the ground. Since I don't have you around, I'll grab a bottle off the shelf and go and drink it by myself. Say you wanna talk it out, well I don't think I need your help. Think I'm better off alone. I made my home run on the road. I won't spend my lonely nights talking on the telephone. I find a girl at every show, but I will never let you know how much I regret the past and why watching you go, because hearts ain't smart, they're built for fools. Fall apart and let you break all your rules. It'll make you choose between a bottle and the blues. But my heart can't seem to forget about you. Can't forget about you. Last 3 months, like a donkey on a chain, I got my heart off your leash, but you still infect my brain. So now I'm running round in circles, cause I can't forget the pain. Like 1,000 shiny daggers every time I hear your name. Though I have to get control of my body and my soul. I pick my heart off the floor like I had you twice before. Should've cared a little less, we should've loved a little more. Now we both regret the past as we're walking out the door, because hearts ain't smart, they're built for fools. Fall apart and let you break all your rules. It'll make you choose between a bottle and the blues. But my heart can't seem to forget about you. Can't forget about you.
All right.
Yeah, the first time I heard those, because Johnny overdubbed his guitar tracks. So like we had the bassist done, right? Like we had it, and I was like, man, this is sounding really good. But
Yeah.
I didn't like my rhythm guitar tracks on necessarily, just the tone and everything, because I'm not the world's greatest guitar player, right? You know, at my essence, really, I'm probably more of a songwriter than anything.
Right.
I kind of know what goes into a song and what to do. You know, I haven't written 100 songs. I've written maybe 30, but all of them were very refined in the way that I was structuring them, right? Listen to enough pop music and rock and all these things to know like what goes into a good one. No, pretty confident in my ability as a writer that you're not hearing like the first revision of the song, right? Like I'm very sure about before I go to record it.
Yeah.
But the first time I heard those guitar tracks come back and just be the icing on that cake, man, I was in tears, Brad.
I can imagine. You know, it's a beautiful thing to see your visions and your art come to life, and you know, it's that's very fulfilling. You know,
I think I wrote this in like 2000. I came back in like 2009, so I maybe wrote this song like 2011, right? Like it's 15 years old.
I'm gonna take a stab at where you were geographically when you wrote that. You had to have been in California.
I was freshly back, I would say, from the coast and everything on that side yet. But yeah, I was living back in the Black Hills. I was back in South Dakota by then, but still had a lot of that West Coast vibe to me, right? Still, I had been out there for 3 years.
Okay,
Everything was fresh and you know, it's all original out there. Oregon, California, Washington. Like, there's not a lot of cover bands. So like when I came back from there, I was writing more and I was, you know, like, we got to play our original stuff, but nobody in South Dakota really gives a shit about your originals. It's different now out here in the scene. You know, but people want cover bands, right? Like that's what you're getting paid to. And I'll never forget, like, I'd only been home maybe a couple of weeks, and you know, my dad had just got a Les Paul, and he's like, yeah, let's put a band together, man. And I had put one together out in Oregon and was like, all right, like, it's not that hard, you know, I'll teach these guys this run of songs and I can lead this. I have no problem singing all of these and doing that. And our first show, and I'd been playing like with the whole band for a bar tab and drinks out in Oregon. And, you know, went to my buddy's the bar, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you $500 and drink all you can. I was like, really? All right.
We're going to be doing this a lot more often then.
And we did, man. We had a pretty good run. Moved back in 2009. We got to play, you know, our big music festival in Deadwood, the Deadwood Jam in 2010. And we did Wild Bill Days in front of a few thousand people in 2011. And, you know, the ego started to get in the way a little bit for myself and other members of the band as well, that started to want to get paid for rehearsal and other things. It was just like, what are you talking about? Like, and then I just started cycling through guys because it was all hobbyists, right? There was no like professional musicians. There was a lot of people that were weekend warriors, right? That like to do rehearsal was taking them away from the wife and kids. And like, then they were wanting money for an album that they, one, weren't on, and two, like, didn't help put any money into producing. And like, well, you're selling CDs while we're up there playing, we should get a cut of that. And I was just like, what?
If you didn't write the melody or the lyrics or pay for
it, had nothing to do with it at all. And I was just like, no, I'm done with this. So like, yeah, by 2011, end of 2011, Starts and Ends was just like done. I was like, I'm good. I don't all you guys, man. I'm over this and playing, and I'm up, you know, I build all the set list. I sing all the songs. I'm putting all the energy. I set up all the sound. I'm running sound from the stage. I'm doing everything. And you want more from me? I was just like, no, I'm good. I'm good, you know?
Yeah. But no, the reason why I said California is because I could hear that West Coast ska sound, you know, like maybe you weren't there, but I feel like that song was heavily influenced by your time in California.
Well, and even the halftime breakdown part, I was going to a lot of raves, right? Dubstep was huge at that time. And I was going to a lot. So you get that kind of halftime breakdown, is that I was listening to a lot of DJs play break beats and break it down with the dubstep stuff. So it was really like almost influenced less by the ska and the reggae, and it was more influenced by like the EDM music that I was listening to and bringing those elements into a live band setting. And yeah, man, how fun to like get that one out, right? 15 years, you'd only been able to hear that live. And like, I was afraid at some point, like I was going to lose these. I've lost other songs where it's like, oh fuck, I don't remember how that goes. I don't have the lyrics written down anywhere. I don't have anything. It's just literally in this steel trap of a brain. And I'm sure if I sat down with a guitar long enough that, you know, some of these other ones would come back to me. But yeah, there was a few I knew that I really loved that I had to get out. And this was a golden opportunity to make it happen. And it didn't cost me a fortune because Tom is such a great guy. And we were able to slam out 5, you know, raw drum and bass tracks in like 3 hours. Like, we sat down for a few hours and we're like, okay, cool. Here's the plan. This is what we're doing. We're just trying to get, if we just get bass tracks, we're good today. So it was really just run through. If Diami's happy with them walking away, we're all going to listen back to him. Diami's track sounds bitchin'. Cool. We can redo everything else, because Tom had the studio and the drums there. He's like, if I don't like what I'm doing, then I can go back and fix it. And at the end of the day, it was like, man, I think we got like half of this song covered already.
Yeah. I could just, I don't know, visually, like I was I used to be a skateboarder, back in the days, and I was like, man, this would have been great if I would have been like at the skate park and
Oh man, this
like,
would have been a great addition to the Tony Hawk soundtrack.
That's right. That's right. But I mean, it still fits that mold, like you could play that for the skating community and they would love it. They would love it. They love that indie rock, punk, ska vibe. And maybe you didn't even target them in your marketing, but like that's what it conjured up for me was my time.
What marketing, Brad? I just want to write songs and record them, right?
Yeah.
Like I wish I could have, if I was born in 76 instead of 86,
yeah,
I probably could have gotten myself a deal in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Like I probably could have had songs that were good enough to get a little bit of attention and to go that. The problem is by 2006, record deals weren't even a freaking thing, right?
Yeah.
Like by the time that I was ready to get out there and do it, the whole world had changed.
Yeah.
And it was only going to do more of that over the next 20 years, right? That's brought us here to where it's just like, well, I don't even want to like, what's a music career, right? And we're trying to help people to rebuild that. And it's so much more than just writing songs, right? You have to be the marketing and the planning and all of the things. And, as a younger man, I didn't have necessarily a big interest in that. I could help promote, right? Like I could get out and pass out flyers and bring people out to shows and do that part. But like having a business plan, what are you talking about? Like I dropped out of college after a semester. I dropped out of college really after like 2 weeks, right? Like I stopped going to class, but I hung out at the school for a little while longer. And then winter time in Eastern South Dakota was like, no, it was a day like today, right? A couple days like this in a row where the wind's blowing 70 miles an hour. The real feel is -12. And I was like, I am going to the West Coast. I think I just read Kerouac's On the Road, right? And I was like, wait a minute. You can just like hitchhike around and be hanging out with, beatniks and hippies. And I mean, granted, the world had changed a lot from the, late 50s, early 60s to, the late aughts, but damn, it sounded good. And I was all about it. So,
yeah. There's sometimes you have to follow your muse and, I heard, another manager and producer that I was working with at one time saying, if you're trying to create music today for what you think the public wants, you're already late. So you should always just be true to yourself and make what you feel and what you want. And, you can always target the right people around whatever that is, so make it for you, stay true to yourself, and you'll find your people, whether that's through marketing or through your live shows or through the radio or whatever, especially if you tell the story, about your songs. People like to get more depth, especially in today's world. Fandom is important. We're looking for connection. We want to feel like we're speaking the same language and we're on the same path with you. We want to relate to that. We want that connection. And that's really what it's all about.
No, people want to be seen and heard just like an artist, right? And sometimes we're just providing those words where they don't have them, and that music is speaking for them. And that's really the beauty of what we get to do now on a daily basis. Hey, what's happening, Willie? Thanks for tuning in, man. Paul, appreciate you. Yeah, man. Me and Brad have a lot of really good conversations, just the two of us that don't go on to tape. So tonight I didn't have a guest lined up for Love Noise. Willie let me know that he was going to be late getting back, from some stuff that he was doing. So I was like, hey, Brad, you got some time, man. Let's just hang out. I want to play you my song. So thanks, Paul. Appreciate you. Paul's done some video editing for us and everything too. So he's part of the team as well. Paul, meet Brad. Brad, you'll meet Paul eventually, I'm sure. That's what's cool about this community that is the Scene Projects, is that it's my family, right? Like it's the people that care about me, especially right now, is that we've just been team building, and anybody that's come into this early phase of it is really in for a treat, because we're about to blow the fuck up. And, you know, I don't know that it's necessarily my songs that are going to do that. Hey, monkey. Hey, you better be getting to bed, honey. It's 8:15. It's past your bedtime. Tell daddy it's past his bedtime too. So this next one I did write in California, Brad, and you're going to be able to identify those roots too. This one's called Forgetting You, and I'll get into the story afterwards, but hope you dig this one.
Sounds good.
Well, the clouds are blocking out the sun today, and I'm nervous about what the day will bring. I got too many troubles, just not enough time. Travel to the mountains, take a couple days to unwind, to unwind, to unwind my mind. But I won't give in to misery. There's too much on my plate today. I gotta keep on running so I can breathe, leaving my troubles in the songs I sing. Lord, I sing. But there is too many things that I've got left to do. Forget about all I've got to lose. Sun is fading now, it's time to choose. Is being myself, won't forgetting you. I wake up early and I scratch my head. Take a look around this room. I'm in this backpack, is holding my life inside. I'm always running cause I just can't hide. Now it starts out just like yesterday. Rolls on a platter in front of me. Spirits, won't you help me please? Help me stay hungry. Help me stay hungry. Cause there is too many things that I've got left to do. Forget about all I've got to lose. Sun is fading now, it's time to choose. Is being myself, won't forgetting you. It's worth forgetting you. Forgetting your friends, forgetting yourself, forgetting to call me when you need some help. Whenever you're scared, I'll be right there. We'll get together and forget our cares. Come and take my hand, I'll heal your heart. I wrote you this song for when we are apart, but tonight we're like one, burning bright as the sun. Watching our love and rapture everyone. Come along with me, I know you'll see. It's like the we lead, it is our destiny. I made my peace, I make my way. Open these doors so I can lead my faith. Cause there is too many things that I've got left to do. Forget about all I've got to lose. Sun is fading now, it's time to choose. Is being yourself, won't forgetting you. Is it worth forgetting you? Is it worth forgetting you? Forgetting you.
All right. Yeah, man, that was very sublime-ish, you know.
I listened to a lot of that band growing up, Brad, so not
Uh,
surprising.
I can tell it's very Bradley Noel is, like the lead guitar on that one as well.
And that was actually Tom. So that was Tom. And this was the song that was kind of sticking us. Like that's why it took till,
Okay.
the end of the summer, and was because I didn't like my guitar tracks on it. And was just like, this isn't right. Oh, there he is. What's happening, Willie?
Not much, buddy.
Welcome to the show. Willie, Brad, my co-host, Willie.
How are you,
Nice to
Willie?
meet
Nice to meet you.
You as well.
Yeah, we were just digging into some of his back catalog here, kind of going
He's
through
got
some
a
of the
pretty good
tracks and
catalog.
everything. Yeah, man, I'm learning that. I've have heard like bits and pieces of this stuff, but had not really, dived into each track like we're doing now, which is really good. But yeah, I was sitting here thinking while I was listening to that, I was like, I wonder if he's ever recorded an acoustic version of these songs.
No.
Like
Nope.
you could always like do a reissue, and like if you ever wanted to do that, and kind of not have to reinvent the wheel, but just do it acoustic. And
Yeah,
know,
I know it's so crazy that like this is in many ways this is like my first real demo, right?
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 25 years, and this is the first time where it's like this is a good collection of what I got. And I got a couple other singles, and maybe we can play some of those too. I mean, it's my show, so I'll do whatever I want
We
to.
know my favorite.
we're getting there. But even the opening is a song of mine called Rise Up. That was kind of my first one that I had released onto Spotify and everything. I had done a 7-song, I guess you'd call like an EP that we put onto CDs with my dad and some guys out there. It was just like, we rushed through it. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. The studio we were working with didn't let us get it. It cost a shitload of money. And then at the end of the day, I was like, these all sound like crap. You know what I mean? Like sounded good, like in the moment where it was like, yeah, I'm excited. And then a year later, I was like, I don't even want to listen to that. Right. And I wanted to make something, a collection of works that I could be proud of. And it's not that I'm not proud of the few singles that we got. And I got 3 more of those too. And I might load those in as well. But it was wanting to, and especially because these are all kind of similar vibe. Right. And I never had a band that could hang. I never really had a bass player that could play the way that Diami does in this vein, right? Like Diami's a huge Chili Peppers fan, and you can hear like, okay, yeah, he's playing lines like Fleetwood. Well, there's one of him in South Dakota, right? Yeah. And maybe the only other person that could get close to him as far as that is maybe Denim, but he's down in Nashville now, and he kind of does his own thing and his own star. So to get him was not happening. And Diami had come out on the road with me that summer of 24. And we went and toured all through Wyoming, man, playing some shows and just road tripping around. And he was just it was a road dog, man. So to be tied to like some really talented people and to have them, captured, right? It's kind of like capturing Tinkerbell in the jar, where I was like, I got him, right? Yeah. Like I caught him on record, and Johnny a lot that way. And you'll hear him on these next 2 songs playing guitar as well. But it was so important to me to like, not just the songs, but the players that I got on it too was really important to me.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. It's hard to find the right mix. I think that is one of the most underappreciated side that a lot of fans don't see, that behind the scenes and all the effort that it takes to, create the charts for the music and to do the pre-production and post-production. And, that's even after you found the right people, and then you got to mix it down and you got to, master it. And there's just so much to that process that a lot of fans.
Willie's going to school at Full Sail right now for music production. So he actually understands some of the terms that you're using now, Brad.
Yeah. It's got to be done though. It has to. What's that?
I'm just giving Willie a hard time.
he understood some of the stuff you were saying, and I said, "You're number one, buddy." Talking about Bubba.
So Willie and I
honestly,
actually just met back in June. He was running, he was the live sound mixer engineer for a festival that I was booked to play at. And I'm glad I brought my equipment with me because I kind of just getting the lay of the land. I was like, I feel like this guy has not been prepared for this moment properly. So we kind of hit it off, just being like, look here, I'm here for you. I'm not trying to take your job. But here's my system. I will give you, some tips and tricks that I've learned doing this for 20 some odd years. But I mean, Willie was just a karaoke DJ really until this summer. Had you done some live?
No, I've done sound, but I haven't had a whole lot of training. Basically, what I've learned up to this point had been a few people telling me here and there, I need to do this or need to do that. But when I first did it, I guess it's been 3-4 years ago now. The guy told me I was thrown into it. Their sound guy showed up drunk. And I was really just a DJ karaoke person. And I had a bigger equipment than I needed. I had a 16-channel PV with 6 monitor channels, bigger than what I needed for DJing. Yeah. So they're like, we can use your board. I said, I had absolutely nothing about it, but knock yourself out.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it. So I've started learning a little more here and there. People like Bubba, my kid calls him Uncle Bubba, and I don't have a problem with that because the people we meet, I was thankful that he brought his stuff along because the sound quality was 10 times better. And it made me go out and get some of the equipment he had there. Like, he brought out a big powered subwoofer, and I was like, I want one. Yeah. I'm on the prowl. And I lucked out, and I found a church doing a get rid of old sound equipment, and I picked up a big 18-inch subwoofer PV for $100. And I was like, heck yeah. So now, it's a lot of what you're going, and I tell everybody this is you got to be acceptable to the advice. Yeah. Bubba may give me some advice that it may not work for me.
Right.
But I'm willing to try it. But if I fail, I can't say, oh, it's Bubba's fault because I did what he told me to do.
Yeah. You're still learning either way, whether it works or it doesn't. What's Jalen Hurts? I know you guys are football fans. He's like, we either win or we learn. That's the only two options. There is no fail. If you fall, you fall forward. You don't fall back. And as long as you're constantly trying to learn from everything, you're not stepping back. So,
thanks. Well, speaking of that, that's great timing, love, because I'm about to play your song. This next one, Brad. This is one of the newer songs on here. So these last 2 songs have been older songs that have been kicking around for a while. This next one is called True Meaning, and this is one I wrote for my wife, Danielle. And I'll tell you the story after the song.
Watch you in the morning as you're getting up from work. After we closed down the bar and I was acting like a jerk. I said some stupid things I wish I never would have said. I never let you get out all the thoughts trapped in your head. Spending all day miserable with feelings bottled up. And then we both get so emotional when we try to talk it out. Blowing up our phones with all this texting back and forth. Wishing I could find the words to show you what you're really worth. You are my world. You're my anchor in the ocean, the only one I'm holding through the night. You are my world. You're the mother of my children, my end and my beginning, true meaning of my life. I couldn't live my life without you, no, I wouldn't even try to turn your whole world upside down over just my foolish pride. I'm jealous of the air you breathe because you need it more, and no flesh will ever tempt me, it's only you that I adore. You are my world. You're my anchor in the ocean, the only one I'm holding through the night. You are my world. You're the mother of my children, my end and my beginning, true meaning of my life. You are my world. You're my anchor in the ocean, the only one I'm holding through the night. You are my world. You're the mother of my children, my end and my beginning, true meaning of my life. True meaning of my life. True meaning of my life. Wishing I could find the words to show you what you're really worth. You are my world.
I had to. I had to.
I love that woman. Getting to play that one in front of like 3,000 people at our big local amphitheater up in Sioux Falls, 2024, fucking highlight of my life, man. Getting to sing that song to my wife in front of this massive crowd of people, and seeing her tear up. It almost made the asshole that I was that day that I wrote that song worth it. When you know I'm sorry isn't enough, you write a song and you hope it lands.
See, that's where I'm screwed. That's where I'm screwed because I can't write or sing. So
Same here, man. I didn't have that luxury. I just got screwed. I don't know. They just left. They were like,
I'll write it. You sing it, brother, okay?
Well,
like, bye, Brad.
Try to use this one and you see if it works for you. It got me out of the doghouse. Apparently it's keeping me married as well. So
yeah, I saw her comment there.
You got a diamond in a rough when you got her.
Oh, I know. It didn't take me long to wife her up. I was like, no, we're together.
I mean,
you're gonna help me raise these kids right.
And I've learned this
out of trouble.
You're like, I wrote a song about you. You're not going anywhere now.
Yeah, now you make me look like a fool if you leave. You're stuck. No, just kidding. And I've seen this from day one after meeting you, as how much she isn't really in your corner. It's incredible. I mean, what you two have, and that you don't let anything you're doing pull you two apart, because you got your hand in everything.
We do a lot, and I don't know a lot of women that would embrace their husband taking, a $50,000 pay cut to essentially go no income, and be like, we're going to figure this out. Like, I promise you, we're going to figure this shit out. Probably helps that her dad was a farmer. And there's a lot of that in there too. A lot of times that her mom, kind of footed the bills while the farm was getting going too. So her upbringing probably has a lot to do with that. I'm very grateful that we have it, because the
whatever works.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Well, now there's 4 cats, so I don't know if I can. Our house isn't big enough for me to keep fucking shit up. So
I was gonna say, is that your go-to? Because I have not tried that one.
Well,
it worked that time. It was Halloween. We got in a fight. I don't know. We got in a fight, and I walked outside, and this kitten that we had been feeding in the backyard like all summer had disappeared for like a month. And I walked out the alley, and here this cat came running up to me again. It was like, "Hey, you're still here!" And I walked him right back inside and put him in his coat, and he'll be inside begging me for food when I go back in.
Gotcha. That's nice, man. Yeah, that song I had actually heard. That's one that I did hear all the way through. I guess when you and I were first kind of connecting about everything. But yeah, that's good, man. It's I don't know. I've never been able to put myself out there, and as far as that goes, like I can help artists, but that's not my skill set. I'm more on. I can kind of tell you what I hear, but it's coming up with things from scratch is I have people I can refer you to that are really great at that, you know, like I know those people, you know, the songwriters here in Nashville that can get into a writer's room with you and pound stuff out. And I don't know that, you know,
I'll just send it to
about
Bubba.
recognizing your talent, you know.
I'm just sending it to Bubba. Be like, hey, Bubba, write me a song about this for me.
I don't know if I have that. I kind of have to live it a little bit. You know, all of these songs, they've all had a story behind them, right? Yeah. And this next one's no different. I know this one's Willie's favorite here. This has become the theme song actually of his show, Soul Impact. This one's called Drifter, and we'll get into the story after you have a listen to it. But really proud of how this one came out too. Also featuring Johnny Hastings on guitar, and you'll hear it.
Okay.
I was a drifter, all alone, away from home, searching for an answer in my soul. Once I thought the
Yeah, Johnny tagged that little bit at the end too, where I was like, I'm leaving that in there. I like that. Obviously, any producer is going to cut that out and to leave it, but to me, it was such a that was the last song on the EP. I kind of always knew that one was going to be there, and yeah, honestly, I probably never even bring this one out if not for Danielle kind of falling in love with it the first time I played it for her, and she's got the ear. If I play it for her and she likes it and she starts requesting it, it's like, okay, that has to go in there, right? She's the taste maker.
Yeah, I would do that a lot with my kids and stuff too. You know, whenever I would have an artist that I would be working with, and just because they have no filter, you know, whatsoever. So
that sums up my wife pretty well.
Did you just refer your wife as a kid?
No, as having no filter.
Oh, okay. Not
mouth,
same thing.
If she has nothing to say, it's because there's nothing nice that's going to come out of her mouth, right?
I need that. I need that because I struggle with that.
Saying nothing is saying everything, right?
Oh, she's got looks to kill. You'll know.
Yeah, we know. We talked about it one night on here about how you're getting looks from her and you're learning how to do the "you're gonna die" look.
Yeah. Well, I've learned how to get out of the way. That's what I've
duck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that one. It was definitely a little more blues rock. I thought, you know, the mastering, you know, the production of it was, I thought, kind of next level. You know, that was good. Yeah, I thought that was definitely one of the better ones that was cohesive as far as like all the parts.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not to say that like all of these are perfect. I know they're not perfect, right? Like we could have gone back and gone over them and got like just beaten them to death. And this wasn't about that. It was about getting something out there that was raw, that like getting these songs out of my head onto something and that we could do. If we make it big and we need to go back and to really put these into a studio and to reproduce them, we can do that. They're my fucking songs. I'll do whatever I want with them, you know, but it was really important for me to, you know, in the streaming side to just get some stuff out there, get some of these songs out and do that. Yeah. She got the radar for good music for sure.
And I tell you, now that I'm going to school for this stuff and I've started actually getting into the grittiness of it, man, you can just tell the work that went into that song. And I liked it from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I said that from the very first time you played it for us. But now that I've gotten into it and I'm, you know, when you can make a kick drum from a cardboard box and a wooden spoon and you hear the work that goes into a song, I like it even more now.
Yeah. Yeah. You could tell that one had a little extra TLC and time that was spent on it.
Johnny's guitar tracks make a difference too, where you're like, oh, this deserves of that, right? And it's not that we couldn't go back, you know. Tom's got all the tracks, I'm sure, you know, still sitting around somewhere. We could go back and remix and remaster them if we wanted to. With what we had, we could add more to them. It's just, you know, for me, it was important to just like, let's just deliver a batch of works, right? They don't have to be perfect. I'm not necessarily trying to shop them around for the radio or anything. I just wanted them out. I wanted something I could finally be proud of. I wanted a collection of works that I could be really proud of. And it's not to say that I haven't been proud of some of these songs. And I want to play 3 more. I want to play the 3 singles that I released before we did this album. So Rise Up, we did. I think this one went out in 2023. So October, I want to say, of 2023. We ended up shooting a music video for it later in the year as well. And this one is actually the title track of all the intros and everything that we do. So you'll recognize the opening lick, but Tom Freer helped me out with this one, and actually had a producer down in Nashville help kind of arrange some things and did some of the mixing. So Tom's playing guitar, and this is this one's Rise Up, and it's this one's kind of my first one coming back out of prison and restarting my music career. That it was you know, okay, we're doing this. We're putting this one out on Spotify.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Nice.
that one was produced by Stefan Konstanopoulos down there in Nashville. Bass player was in Nashville. Drummer was actually in the UK, guy that we did. So this one was just all pieced together. It was all different tracks set out. I'd kind of sent some scratches, and then it all pieced back together, right? Which was cool. It was the first time I'd really experienced that portion of it. So it was an interesting way to be like, oh, this is how music is done now, right? Like I can send you scratches, have you kind of build the song and then lay my vocals on from home. And there it is. And yeah, I mean, not dissatisfied with the quality, right? Like I liked how it all came out. It wasn't how I wanted to make music. Right? Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
wanted to be in the studio with the guys and like to be a little more old school about it, right?
Right. Yeah, you can definitely hear Nashville in that, the production wise, that screams Nashville. It just has that sound.
So my question, Bubba, and I know a lot of your tracks have been kind of recorded like that. How was it when you played with a band versus just sending the recordings out? Because initially with it, they sent the recording back, correct?
Yeah, so I had sent them scratches to kind of play along to, and then I think we got the drums first and then kind of layered the bass, and he had the bass on there. And then I wasn't happy with the guitar bits that I was getting, and that's why we finally sent it off to Tom and had Tom do the guitar tracks on it, because I had done another version of this that I recorded at home, and I had my friend Chris Gully lay some organ tracks on there and some slide guitar, and I don't know if I have a copy of that around somewhere. Let me see if I can dig that up. I didn't even think about finding that, but I was relatively happy with what we had done on that, and the producers just like, yeah, it wasn't easy for him then to be able to work with, right? So it was like, well, we're going to take this in a different direction now. And I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, but when how's it performing? What I mean, have you performed that song?
The experience of, I mean, I guess in what way? What do you mean?
Like, so you have your track. So obviously you don't have the band with you that you had in that track. What was it like learning to play that with a band versus the talents that you have sent back?
Well, I had played it live dozens of times already with a band, right? It was just like the band that I was with wasn't necessarily capable of going into the studio and recording it to the level that we wanted to have.
Okay,
right?
I
And
see.
that was kind of the big difference there.
I see.
I'm going to see if one of these is the...
Put you in the chair a little bit on that one. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Well, it was different, right? Like it was definitely different. Now these are all waves. I wonder if it's going to be too big to play.
StreamYard won't play waves.
Oh, well, we won't be able to listen to one of these tonight.
But you can put it in the chat GPT and it'll convert it.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, that's the same one. I'll have to dig it up. I hope they're not gone forever. I'm sure I got somewhere, but yeah, I love because I love what Gully had done. Gully put all this slide guitar on it but it was a totally different song, but he didn't play to a click, right? And so things were a little off, and Stefan's just like, I can't even work with this. And it was like, well, damn, I really liked that, but I'm going to trust, your judgment in this. Like I said, I'm not unhappy with, what we have, what that became. We were able to shoot a music video for it the following summer that kind of has, my wife's, her family farm on there. Her dad kind of stars in it. My wife Danielle's in it. And kind of, it was capturing all of our life, a nice little time capsule of that moment. Right. And, it was just really cool, man. I really enjoyed it. And we haven't invested in doing more videos since then. So it's the only one that I have out there. It's just, we've talked about this a lot, Brad, kind of between the two of us, but like, once I do something once, like I don't have to go and repeat that experience. So many of these things, I'm like, yeah, cool. All right, I've done that. Right.
Yeah.
Played in front of 3,000 people. Okay, yeah, that was cool. I don't really need to like go experience that time after time after time. Like I've done that. On to the next thing.
Yeah, but I think you should do one for Drifter.
And that's the one where when we recorded that, because we had gotten Johnny's guitar tracks back before I did the vocals. And as I was doing the vocal tracks and started layering them on, I was getting the visions of like, oh, this is like, you almost want it like a swamp, right? And when Johnny hits that lead, that he's kind of like on a island out by himself, right? And all the fog, and you kind of have like a choir that's off in the distance and in the haze, right? Kind of singing, and the not necessarily candles, but like lantern light and very dark and swampy. And when we talked about it on our show, I had him on for an interview, and we talked about him doing the guitars, and he's like, yeah, man, I kind of had this vision of like being out in the middle of the swamp. And I was like, I got that vision too, right? Where that's how good music videos are made, you know, where it's like, it's no different, Brad, than we were talking about with Michael's song, where you're like, this is an intro for a title track to a Disney movie. Right. And in so many ways, like the songs kind of play themselves into that and appear out of thin air. And yeah, I look forward to doing that and taking these songs. And what I'd really like to do is when I have the wherewithal and we have the money to do it, is to take the guys, fly them all out to Nashville, and then to be really like, let's do it for real this time, right? Like we did it in Tom's home studio, and Tom's a genius with doing that. He's produced some really good records for some of my other friends. But let's like, just go be a player on this with me, Tom. Like instead of having to worry about doing everything and having to get up from behind the drums to go hit stop on the recorder when you're done, like let's go pay people and let's do it right and see what we can get from there. This is really just to flesh it out so that I can kind of use this to show other players when I'm playing around the country to go, hey, here's the songs, right? Like here's my set. Here's 7-8 songs that we have. And now you kind of have something to play along with. So this next one is one that I did with Tom in his studio. Tom played drums. I'm on guitar and the vocals, obviously. And my good friend Troy James came into the studio and played bass on it one. This is a single we released, I want to say like summer of 24. This one's called Building Today.
Okay.
And now for something completely different. Where is it? Is it this one? Nope, it's this one.
Getting together is like running uphill. I'm working so hard, but I'm standing still. I have one dream in mind, and I'll never give up. I'll just keep on running until I'm on top. Push to the end of this mountain called life. Push to our limits, the higher we climb. Running uphill, running out of line. I can't run anymore, so I guess I'll have to fly away. 'Cause I want to make a difference today. We're gonna have to change our lives, change our ways, if we want to build a difference today. So now my moment's up, and I'm all out of time, and now my number's been called, and I just realized that the life that I want is the one that I'm living. Share what I know with this gift I've been given, playing all the time for the love of the game. I'm just making sure everyone remembers
I dig that one. That was good.
Thanks. Yeah, and that one was interesting to do because I'm pretty sure the way we recorded it, and this was in Tom's kind of first studio. He's on his third one now, on his third home studio. That and I've recorded in all of them, so that's pretty cool. I don't know how many of the people that he's worked with could say that so far, but I think that Troy and I recorded our guitar and bass tracks together at the same time, or at least on the same day, to a click. And then Tom added the drums later. So that was my first time kind of in that experience as well, and building the song in that way. So that was really that was interesting to kind of hear it with just the bass and guitar and going, all right, Tom, I'll keep my ears out and look for your, drum part to come in. And then I was like, oh, damn, sounds pretty damn good.
Yeah. I thought that was really good, man. That was, I don't know. It was, I could see that, being played at a festival and, a big concert series, and a lot of people being able to connect with that one.
It was different than what you normally play.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of got some kind of ska indie rock stuff. There was, one that was leaning more kind of towards that Americana, not country, but Americana side. And then, that one, and then the blues rock. And then you've got, that one that's kind of, I don't know, in between some of that. So it's a good variety.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Michael Cagle,
I tell you, with that one, not that one, but you mentioned the different range. And the one I think the most that had the different range was the one you wrote for Danielle. It kind of, a little bit of it felt like the parts of the chorus felt like, hey there, Delilah, to me. Kind of got a little bit of that vibe from it. And I've always told you, your range you have, you sell yourself short sometimes.
Yeah, that was really, everybody's like, well, what do you play? And I used to call it rockabilly reggae funk, because I got like my initial EP that we released, 7 songs. Like, I think there's 2 of those that I've re-recorded that are on there. Building Today was one of them, and Forgetting You were on that original one from 2010 that we recorded. But it's like, how do you describe it? And that's why I finally landed on now modern gypsy rock, where it's like, it's kind of a blend of everything, all this American music that I grown up listening to, rock, reggae, ska, blues, the country, Americana, right? Like, it's kind of a blender of all of that. And it could be in the same song that you're hearing those influences. So it's, we were talking about you, Michael. All good things, all good things. And no, you are so cool, sir. You are. I want to play one more for you, Brad, and then I'll let you get on to the rest of your night. Appreciate you sticking around and listen to my songs. It's nice to hear somebody that's been in the industry and has heard a lot of music, and to get your take on it. Not that I, that I need the approval. I would love to, see this music career go somewhere again. It's just, I also understand that without what we're doing on the Scene Project side for discoverability for other artists, nobody's ever going to make it out here, right? Like, this music industry is just going to slowly cannibalize itself until there's nothing. And it's, I just hate to watch that happen. So appreciate you taking some time to hang out with me tonight. I appreciate all the time I get to spend with you, man. I think we make an awesome team, no different than me and Willie do on our side, working on what we're doing. And I want to finish out with one called Triple Fine. And this was the one that I released in February of 2024. This one made me quit my job, because I was like, this is it. We're getting all the gigs. We got, festival appearances, or, we were playing the amphitheater, and I was booking gigs in Minneapolis, and I had 5-6 day runs booked. And this was kind of the catalyst of that. And then I got on the road that summer, and I was like, I don't want this bad enough. I don't want this bad enough on the artist side to keep pushing like this for nobody to listen. And in the meantime, well, I appreciate you saying that, Michael. And you know, I know you don't need it either, but I sure like telling you that you're really good at what you do.
Yes, you are. And I
Awesome.
tell you, Brad, I would love to pick your brain on the sound side of it, on the producing side of it. I would love to pick your brain.
Okay. Yeah. It's not my lane necessarily, but I've been around it enough to where I can, you know, kind of help and massage things into place. But yeah, I don't know. I've been around some really great producers, you know, and I'm glad that they've taken me under their wing whenever I had the chance and shown me the real process of how it should be done. And anyway, I'd be happy to network with you there and, you know, pass that off too. So,
well, I appreciate it.
This one recorded, Tom again did the drums. Tom also did the guitar on this, and playing bass and doing some of the backup vocals, both Tom and Clayton Ryan. And Clayton is one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. He has a burgeoning career of his own. I think he is, I mean, for a lot of reasons, he's why I do what I do with the scene projects and to continue to pump up other people, because if I was having to stand next to him, and I hardly feel like a musician some days, and someday, Brad, I'll play you his songs as well. He's got some good ones, but this one's called Triple Fine. It's usually my ender for a lot of reasons, but appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight and listening to my music. This was really fun to just get a chance to do this with my buddies.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I appreciate you having me. It's kind of good getting to know that side of you, which I know we normally talk more business and not as much on the art side, but this has been fun for sure.
I'm looking forward to bringing that art side back, right? But we got to make the business thing happen first. And really, you know, once we go out there and the backside of this tour and getting all this footage out in 2026, it's going to lay the foundation for, you know, me to build a studio with Willie that I can bring all my friends to, and we can record all of this stuff and to really to do it bigger. Because I think that we all deserve it, and recording more songs with Michael Cagle and getting to, I mean, think of the 500 artists that I've been in contact with in the last 2 years. Like, we have a great team put together right now, this awesome ecosystem. Like, after the tour, we finally get the recognition of what we've built. And that's really, then we get to settle in and just have fun and can make art for the next couple of decades, you know? So this one's Triple Fine. I appreciate you guys. Michael, thank you for tuning in here at the end of the show too. I hope you like this one. I don't know that Michael's heard this one yet either. So enjoy, fellas.
Got an ocean full of love that's made for two. We can sail upon the ocean breeze, and sunshine feels like you loving me. We got a good thing going on, you know that's true. I'm feeling fine, fine, fine. Boy, you love on me like wine. Fill me up, let me take a sip from your loving cup. Feeling fine, 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 fine. Boy, you love on me like wine. Next to you, and the sun's so hot and the sky's so blue. There ain't a single thing I'd rather do than spend all my time making love to you. Ain't got a plan, just a way to live, and a big bag of love that we love to give out through the world, through song and show. If you're getting on the bus, let's go, go, go. I'm feeling fine, fine, fine. Boy, you love on me like wine. Fill me up, let me take a sip from your loving cup. Feeling fine, 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 fine. Boy, you love on me like wine.
Uncle Bubba?
You need to turn it off.
What was that?
She
That was
said
Uncle
you need to turn it off. Monkey, I love you, girl. Thank you. Between you and Danielle, my head will never get too big. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you saying so. It means a lot coming from you.
Sorry, Bubba. I tried to get the mute button, buddy.
No way. What are you talking about? That is freaking gold. That is gold. That's why we do it. My buddy used to come in. One of my best friends used to come in all of our shows. And as soon as he'd walk in, he'd go, play something good. Man, if you ain't got friends that can keep you humble, you ain't got the right friends.
That's right. That's right. That's what friends are for. Keep you on your toes, make you better.
Yeah, well, if they're saying stuff like that, it means because you are good, right?
Yeah.
Because your friends ain't gonna bust your balls if you suck. You know, your friends don't kick you when you're down. So, yeah, man, what a great. This was a pleasure for me to get to share my songs with you and have you kind of see who I am. I mean, really, I was an artist first. I was a songwriter first. This podcasting thing and this whole, business endeavor that we've taken on has just been something that I fell into. It wasn't the plan. It was me seeing a need to, because the media tour was over. When I released Triple Fine, I was like, this is it. I'm going to make the push on the marketing and get out there. I did 2 podcasts, the local radio station, the 2 local TV stations in South Dakota, and it didn't move the fucking needle at all, right? It was just like, oh my God, how much do you have to do to get someone to pay attention to you? And that was really the inception of being in my friend Dave Holly's studio doing his podcast and being like, oh, I have one of those. I could be doing this for people. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you definitely could. And it's like, then I'm going to. And now we hear, not even 2 years later from that inception point, and to look what we've built, to look back a little bit and go, damn, man, we really accomplished a lot. We've accomplished a lot in a very short amount of time. And we're going to accomplish so much more in the near future that it's really going to blow people away. And you alluded to being like a year ahead of the curve, right? And people are just going to be getting turned on to this. Well, now when they go and they discover who the scene projects are and who, Bubba Startz is, there is a plethora of content to go back. And that's where that viral moment comes from those moments of them going back and watching the history of the things that we already created. And that's why, the 5-day a week and passing the torch to Michael and to AJ with Unsigned Spotlight is I know this is working, right? I have felt the groundswell of momentum that it's built for me. If you guys start to do this now and you're out there 5 days a week playing other artists' music, being excited about other people, it's going to happen that much faster for you. Because I built all of this off of 1 episode a week, right? So if you can move 5 times faster than I did, it's going to be rapid. And with his, as beautiful of a soul as Michael has, and I'm not just saying that because he's, listening in to the podcast now, but, I heard it the first time we heard his song and AJ was like, man, you should hear this guy. And we played one of his songs and I was like, how do we work with him? How is he not signed? How is he not famous already? And he's had a very successful career. And anyone who wants to get to know more about Michael, check out Unsigned Spotlight every single day with AJ Waller at noon Central Time on the Scene Projects, or go back and listen to our episode of Love Noise with him and get to know the man and get to know these songs and his career. He's been much closer to the top than a lot of us have, right? Selling out soft seated theaters in Vegas and having that is, Michael, I would be blessed if I ever got to that level. If I can build this damn thing up to something and I can get to spend my, the latter years of my life when the kids are gone and me and Danielle can move to Vegas for 6 months a year and have a residency selling out theaters, singing, I don't give a shit whose songs I'm singing at that point. A nice living performing in front of people, that would be awesome. But there's still work to do to get us to that level. And along the way, we're going to help hundreds, thousands of other artists do exactly the same thing. And Brad, with you, we're going to change the fucking world, man. And it's going to be a really cool thing to witness.
Well, Bubba, it's just like with me. Never in my life would I imagine where I am now. I mean, we started this journey with me and you back in June when after I met you and I told you I thought about starting a podcast. Next thing I know, you get home and you're like, we're going to make it happen, you know? But it is open doors. And like I tell everybody, you in the podcast world, you know, you're my mentor in that. And I'm not saying that because you're here. I say that on episodes that I record with other people, is that you have such a persona that you're really good at handing over criticism where it's not like, hey, I'm a jackass kind of criticism. Granted, you can be a jackass, but
I'm adept. Yep. I come from a long line of jackasses on both sides of my family. Come to find out.
You come at it and like, here I am, you know, I did a podcast the other day with a guy that I was his third episode he ever recorded. And he's like, how do I get where you are? I was like, well, see, I'm still chasing somebody else. So, but I've not been doing it as long as you have. So I was able to give him some of the advice you gave me. But ultimately, no matter it's an artist, a podcast, starting whatever you're doing, you got to start with yourself. You got to believe in yourself and sell yourself. If you can't sell yourself, how am I expecting you or Brad to believe in what I'm selling?
Yep. Absolutely. That's confidence is everything. And, you know, before you'd gotten on the call, we were talking about how, you know, what you do today, you do not see any benefit from typically for 1 year. And that's just not just in the music business, but that's really almost in life in general. You know, like if you think about right now, what were you doing 1 year ago? You're probably just now seeing the benefits from what you were doing exactly a year ago. It just takes that long for things, you know, and that's just part of it, you know. So all we can do is set up ourselves up for success and to be in the right places, surround yourself with the right people, try to have some structure and some plans around you, you know, so that, you know, a year from now you can look back and say, I made the right decisions, you know.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly, Michael. We talked a lot about it earlier in the show. None of us can do it by ourselves. And that's why we're building this badass team that, you know, the biggest thing for me was like putting a name on it. And when we fell on the Scene Projects, and it's been a perfect name for everything because it's so inclusive. It's not about one scene. It's about all the scenes. Hey, girlfriend, how you doing?
There, say it. Say hi, Bubba.
Hi, Bubba. I'm doing good.
Good.
Hey, Dad, let me try to watch this app.
No, don't get on camera. Get down. Get down.
It's like I can't see myself.
I know. If we were just in the main lobby, I wouldn't care, but
Yeah.
Love you, monkey. Get some sleep, honey. It's past your bedtime.
okay, he said go sleep. He loves you. Tell Uncle Bubba you love him.
Bye, honey. And it's a family, right? It's a family that we're building of artists and creatives, and the reason that the show has been successful is because everyone who comes into it is family, right? Like I know you, I am you, right? Like every artist that I interview isn't out of like, you know, I need more artists for my show. It's because I genuinely want to talk to people about their art. Like I'm a fan of independent music, right? And then so it's very easy for me to just keep doing what I'm doing and growing. And I mean, Michael, it shows. The recordings that you and JP have put together are freaking incredible, right? Like, and that's the difference between like what you spent all this time doing over that time and like what me and my buddies did on our 5 songs, whipping it together with like less than 20 hours total put into it, right? But I wanted that raw nature to mine. You were trying to create your, you know, in a lot of ways, like your masterpiece, right? Like these 2 albums is finally, after 30 years in the business and singing other people's songs and performing on stages all around the country and around the world, it was your turn to finally put your music out there, and it shows. Every bit of love and effort and sweat and tears that have gone into that album are on there, and it comes through. And now it's up to, you know, me, AJ, and Brad to figure out the strategy to get that out there. Like, you've done the hard work, but there's still work to do. And the next bit of the work is, like Brad said today on our call, it's the not sexy work. It's the metadata. It's the marketing. It's the promotion. Like, it's not fun, right? The creation is the fun part.
But nightmares are made of.
Yeah, sometimes. In my nightmares, man, I fucking hate data.
Listen, I've been trying to market my show and get not just my show, but the scene projects, talking to different people. And sometimes it's like beating a horse. Yeah. A dead horse at that, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it takes consistency as well. You know, it's,
me too, Michael. Me too.
We hear you, Michael. We all do. That's why we got into this business, because we thought it was all backstage and, you know, hanging with.
I thought it was a Motley Crue documentary all the time.
Exactly.
All the time. I thought it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And it turns out,
why are you ruining it for me?
Heartache and getting shit on by people and having your art degraded and demeaned and devalued. And yeah, man, so much of it sucks. And that's why we're building a better music scene, right? Like, the scene projects is that in a lot of ways. Like, we're building a better scene than what we have out there currently. And we're building a family, and the networking of the conferences is going to be crucial, right? And I think that's
more about the people. We care more about the people. We really do. I mean, we take the people that we interact with and we try to get them out there. And it's not just, okay, you're on it. Great. Bye. See you later. Never talk to you again.
Right.
You know, and you hit on this. Where we are a year ago, I'm working on my house that I moved into 2 days before Christmas.
Right.
Not knowing where the end was.
In January of last year, I was just releasing like my first Zoom episodes, right? The things that I had recorded on Zoom that I had started putting out. And I was trying to figure out, like, I was paying a bunch of African kids to chop up my shorts for me and stuff because I couldn't figure it out myself, right? Like, I was struggling enough to edit my long form stuff. And then, so I was paying this group of, these Nigerian kids to do it for me because they do it for dirt cheap. And then I was like, I can't keep paying to have content produced. This is untenable. And eventually, it was probably around like March or April that I got introduced to Podcast AI. And that was a freaking game changer because it took all that short form content production off of there. And then, another 6-8 months of learning, not just how to use a CRM and all of the things, the go high levels and all those things. But then, like, I can't pay for that all the time too at $400 to $1,000 a month. Like, this thing's not making any money. How am I going to pay all this money? And honestly, we've been able to put together a team on the back end as well. Shout out to Ted, who we need to start getting his music out there as well. And, Ted getting me onto his GHL agency, and we're going to start closing down a lot of sales for him and getting more people into his world so that he can pay for the agency that he's been running. And to keep doing the little things right. And we've been doing a lot of little things right for the last 6-8 months. And it's about to really start taking off. You don't get to 350,000 views on YouTube by accident, right? Well, while we might not be viral, our massive output of content is going to pay dividends on the back end. When we get that moment in the sun, when Joe Rogan's finally like, who the fuck is Bubba Startz? I need to have him on my show. And all of a sudden we get millions of views on one piece of content. Now everyone's going to go back and find all of it. Right. And that's what's really cool about it is when I get my moment in the sun as the executive producer and as kind of the star of this whole thing, that we have a whole forest that's going to grow up right along with us, right? All of these people are going to get a benefit to that. And that's why, you know, getting everyone in the groups and in the Midwest Original Music Organization and having them come to the creator conferences and building that family out is like, look, man, eventually this is going to break. And when it breaks, I want it to break for all of us because I'm not in it for me, right? Like if I was in it for me, I'd have fucking been famous already, but I'm not. I'm in it for everybody.
But that's the thing is, and that's what I love about this family we have is that it's not about what we have to all, what we can get from one another. We're all bringing something to the table. You know, it's, hey, I've got this, you've got that. Let's put it together and we'll make a whole. And, you know, because realistically, if you take everything you need to run a podcast effectively, and everybody had to buy that, where we break it down and we me and you kind of divide it up a little bit to where it's not all on you, it's not all on me, and we kind of eat the cost. So it makes it where when you bring all these people together, that whether it's the marketing, the backbone, the editing, whatever they're doing, that it's kind of like a car.
We need everybody to start buying into Music Mogul AI so Brad can be our sponsor and we can start paying people to do the not sexy stuff. Right, Michael?
What is that?
Music Mogul AI is Brad's tech platform that he spent the last year building. So it's a booking agent, marketing agent. It's going to change the world, man. And that's how I met Brad. He was just looking to promote, get on some podcasts and promote his platform. And I was like, oh man, this is like the greatest shit to ever happen to independent music, and realized very early on what we had and realizing, you know, the intuitiveness to know that, okay, I know because I know a few people who have developed apps, like what it costs to develop this tech. I knew the investment without saying it out loud, what you had put into this, and realizing that there probably wasn't a 2x to that of marketing budget left. And I said, I ain't going to charge you a penny. Let me talk about you as much as I can. And we'll put this on every episode that we run out of the Scene Projects, and let us be your megaphone and let's all grow together.
Hey, listen, I've got a video of me bringing sexy back. Just ask Bubba.
We're not playing that tonight. This ain't the right show. Danielle's giving me a hard time. She told me not to bother coming over to the bowling alley. So I was like, well, we can go a little long tonight and not worry about it. But I got to get inside and get some sleep because we got to wake up and do it all again tomorrow, boys, and to get back to work and start promoting this creator conferences and this tour, getting some of these artists to buy into what we're doing. I think that this episode is actually going to give us a lot of gold, Brad, which is why I wanted to kind of do it now as well, is that this will save overnight. I'll wake up in the morning. I'm going to run it through Podcast AI, and there's our short form video content to start running out and promoting what we're trying to do. So thanks for being part of the show, Brad. It was really fun to have you on and to play some of my music for you and have you meet some of the rest of the crew as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's great meeting everyone. And, you know, I'm just really excited about the upcoming tour. Highly recommend everyone, you know, submit to that. It's going to do so much, you know, for your network. It's going to give you free content. It's going to get you exposure. You know, there's so many benefits with the community that Bubba is building here with the scene and that Willie is as well. And I just highly recommend everyone, you know, submit to that. You know, there are only a certain number of submissions that we're taking for that. But we want to hear from you, and we want to, you know, give you guys the platform and the microphone and the voice that you deserve. And that's what we're doing here.
Awesome. Brad, pleasure to have you, man. Thanks for being part of the scene. Willie, thanks for being my brother. I've needed you so many times this year. And my kids asked me at the dinner table today, like, who's your like most reliable friend? And I was like, it's Willie by far. He's the only one that has never fallen off. And even if he did, he called me every day. And, you know, for whatever reason, God brought us all together. and now we get to go change our world. And I'm really, really grateful for that.
Brad, it was really nice meeting you.
You as well. Yeah. Thank you guys so much, and hope to see you guys around soon.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Michael, we appreciate you. I can't wait to have you back on as well. And we'll be watching you 5 days a week with AJ Waller on Unsigned Spotlight here on the Scene Projects Network. Everybody have a great night. Be good to one another. And we will see you next week for Love Noise on every Wednesday at 7 p.m. See y'all.